Hey everyone, good morning. Welcome on into North Dakota today. Well, hey, if you're looking for something to do at the end of the month, you are in luck. The Living History Weekend at Fort Abercrombie State Historic Site is coming up, and you at home are invited to travel back in time. Joining us this morning, we have history reenactor Casey Beck, or should I say Soldier Beck. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing so well. You look great. This is exciting as soon as you guys at home get to see him. So we're talking about Living History Weekend. Here we go. Now it's all making sense, right? So tell us about the history reenactments happening.
Yeah, so July 27th and July 28th, we're bringing Fort Abercrombie State Historic Site kind of back to life.
Yeah.
Anyone who comes those 2 days, that Saturday, Sunday, you're going to be stepping back into time. You're going to see the sights, the smells, everything that's going on in 1865. We're going to try to bring that back to life, and this is definitely going to be our biggest one that we've ever hosted. We'll have about 35 to 40 reenactors out there, so you really get a good kind of glimpse of going back into time and what the Red River was like in 1865.
Wow. All right, so you came dressed the part, obviously.
Yes.
Do you want to describe your garb here?
Yeah, so over that weekend, because we have kind of so much stuff going on, we have kind of some people portraying specific things.
Yeah.
And I, over the course of the weekend, will be the quartermaster and commissary officer, which means I'm just in charge of all the stuff. And so
adding that to the resume.
Yeah, right? So teacher in charge of stuff,
yeah.
Same thing. And so this is the uniform of the guy that would have been doing that in 1865. He was a captain in the cavalry. So the yellow and the sabers is going to tell us that it's a cavalry uniform.
Okay.
And it's a little bit nicer than kind of what a private or a sergeant would be wearing. It's a little bit fancier for a captain and officer. So.
Okay, so the time period is specifically the summer of 1865.
Yep.
That's new for you guys to focus on this year. Why?
So we picked that year really because of a very specific unit that's at Fort Abercrombie in 1865. They're generally called the Galvanized Yankees. Kind of officially, they're Company A of the 1st U.S. Volunteer Infantry Regiment.
Wow.
But what they are is former Confederate prisoners of war who had been basically convinced to rejoin the Union Army, rejoin the U.S. Army, and they're told, you won't have to go fight anywhere, we'll just send you on guard duty somewhere, and they are sent to Fort Abercrombie. They're sent actually to a few forts in North Dakota, really to what they're going to consider the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And they're going to spend 1865 and really into 1866 in North Dakota because they chose that route instead of sitting in a prison of war camp for the rest of the war.
Wow, that's incredibly interesting. So walk us through what people can expect at the fort. Are there remnants of the original fort up?
Yeah, so Fort Abercrombie is really lucky. They have the original guardhouse that was built in 1863 and 1864. Wow. So what we're portraying in 1865, the guardhouse was actually there, standing in the spot that we have it. There are some recreations of buildings, the blockhouses, the big guard towers that you might think of, as well as kind of the palisade wall that was surrounding the fort, that was around the place. Yeah. But that's about it. The museum does have some really awesome things that have been found at Fort Abercrombie. Yeah. But in terms of original buildings, it's really just that guardhouse.
Okay, so what kind of demonstrations will be available?
Yeah, so anytime you show up, there'll be stuff going on. But from 10 or at 10 o'clock, we have the guys who will be portraying the Confederate prisoners of war. They're taking the oath of allegiance, so they're going to be renouncing their Southern ties, joining the U.S. Army, going through that whole process. And for veterans or for active military members, if you go and watch that, you're probably going to realize, oh, it's not actually that different than joining the U.S. Army today. It's actually pretty similar. Okay. And then a bunch of different stuff going on, but then at 1:30, I believe, we have kind of them then getting their equipment, getting the uniform, all the equipment that they would have needed and would have gotten at Fort Abercrombie, as well as drilling going on. We have some other different smaller programs going on, cooking demonstrations. Yeah. We're cooking for 40 to 45 people over the course of the weekend, all period recipes, on period equipment, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of something that's neat to see. We also have kind of the State Historic Society's resident wet plate photographer, Carrie Janosik, who is going to be there taking wet plate photography. I think she's been here. I'm sure talked about that.
Great work.
Yeah, and so she'll be there doing that. also blacksmithing demonstrations. We've got some other things going on in the visitor center.
Wow.
So it's something for everyone, no
Yeah.
matter what your interest is.
Yeah.
There'll be something for you to go check out.
Yeah, fun and learn something along the way.
Yeah,
okay,
that's the goal.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Okay, so remind us the dates and the times.
So July 27th and July 28th, the site will be open both of those days from 9 to 4, and we'll have stuff going on pretty much that whole time, except on Sunday. The reenacting stuff will end at noon,
Okay.
but the site will still be open until 4 o'clock.
Okay, and where do we go really quickly for more information?
Definitely check out Facebook, Fort Abercrombie State Historic Site, their Facebook page, and then as well, our Facebook has quite a bit of information, and that's Company D, 5th Minnesota Living History Group.
Perfect. Casey, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Good luck
Of course.
with everything.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. We'll be right back to close out the show right here on North Dakota Today.